共闘だ。
Venom, like many dark-skinned anime characters, has a formless and thus impossible to defend against toolset. His ability to set up balls on the screen and then hit them in a variety of ways, influencing both direction and speed, and even top and backspin, means he is only limited by your imagination in applying his tools. Venom has a small move pool in total, but the enormous depth to utilizing them means he's a character you can have played from the release of the game, and still have mountains of setups and sequences to learn and discover. And utilizing these tools correctly is immensely rewarding, as Venom can convert them into strong damage and even highly damaging ship setups. Combined with his long reach and strong neutral tools, Venom is often considered among the strongest characters in the game. And once he gets in, his pressure is infamous for being both safe and long-lasting, by combining his many options with balls and his specials, such as Carcass Raid to reset and continue pressure, until the opponent cracks. Venom is also blessed with a normal throw that allows combos, which let him utilize clever routing to set up optimal ball formations and combo the opponent to the corner, where other characters who are not blessed with such a throw, or a command throw, have to settle for far less. Venom is a character only limited by how much effort you are willing to put into him. So, what's the downside? Venom lacks defensive options in all regards, even in terms of reversal supers, and has to rely entirely on system mechanics once he has been defeated in neutral. This means while your neutral game is immensely strong, if you mess up and get knocked down, your opponent doesn't really have to worry about anything, and can use the most heinous mix-ups they can think of, with no regard for character-specific options, unlike what they would have to consider for many other characters. Coupled with this, Venom, while having fantastic buttons, lacks good ways to knock down and get damage from those buttons at range, as his only real option to convert them into anything without meter is Stinger, which does decent damage but doesn't compare to the conversion tools of many other characters. This impacts not only neutral, but also impacts his ability to punish many tools that might be negative enough to get hit by a far slash at range, but not negative enough for him to get close enough and sweep. This means Venom will often have to utilize correct reads in neutral to set up formations for late reward, rather than be able to directly use that read to start his game plan. Guilty Gear combos can be very freeform in many cases, and you will often have to convert from stray hits, so it's important to have a basic idea of what your route should look like, rather than a strict idea of a set sequence of buttons to always press in order. Venom has a fairly simple basic combo structure. He wants to utilize his strong corner carry with jump routes and air dash routes whenever possible, and when he can't, simply defaults to getting a knockdown with 2D sweep. His air dash routes he generally gets from using his close slash, which hits 3 times and launches on the last hit, letting him use air dash, jump S, jump heavy, jump D into 6 heavy to get a knockdown anytime you get a launch. Your goal is to hit jump D as close to the ground as possible in order to be able to use 6 heavy to knock down and set up a ball formation. And when this is not possible, he defaults to jump heavy to try to knock them down if close enough to the ground. All 3 hits of close slash will not work on most crouching characters though, meaning to be able to launch crouching, you will have to learn to hit confirm crouchers into an alternate route. What your goal is here is to hit the S version of QV, which will send the ball backwards, allowing your 5P to hit it, and give you time to air dash after into the same route as before. Don't be dissuaded if you at first can't hit confirm this. With practice, you will eventually get more and more consistent, until it becomes second nature. The same route can be used both in the corner and mid-screen. These 2 routes, together with 2D sweep whenever you're not in range for close slash, will make up the vast majority of your combo structure, and are very important building blocks to get down to later learn multiple air dash routes and even more fancy combos. Venom in neutral utilizes his long-range slash buttons in both forward slash and 2 slash to keep the opponent out while allowing him to set up ball formations that would allow Venom to further play keep out or move in after to utilize his strong pressure tools. These ball formations can be utilized in various ways and hit in various ways to allow you to control almost every part of the screen with the correct hit and angle. When Venom does not have a ball set up already, he can utilize Stinger, and even more so Stinger YRC, to try to take control of neutral and either get in after the ball or just create space to set up more formations. Carcass Raid, while often more of a pressure tool, can serve the same function, and Carcass Raid Heavy Slash is of special note here for its ability to create a form of wall to keep your opponent out and especially discourage vertical approaches. Of special note amongst his normals is 2S, as it is very fast for how long range it is, being an exceptional interrupt and neutral tool due to it, and many characters especially have troubles overcoming it at round start, forcing them to block, meaning Venom can start most matches safely and move to his optimal range. In terms of anti-airs, Venom is blessed with what might be the strongest 6P in the game, sporting a very good hitbox with good startup and fantastic upper body involved. There are very few air buttons that can challenge it at all. The combination of these strong normals and the variety of angles ball formations can cover means Venom has one of the best neutral games in Xrd, and neutral, more than anything else in this game, is what wins matches. Strong mix-ups and setups are tools to win more once you've gotten the neutral win. But if your character lacks strong tools to start that mix-up, you face an uphill battle from the start. Venom is blessed with both among the strongest neutral in the game and among the strongest mix-ups in the game, meaning not only does he have the ability to win once he gets in position, he also gets in that position more often than not. So, what do we do once we get in? Venom's pressure relies on either pre-existing ball formations or his massively plus S Carcass Raid special. Both existing ball formations being hit into the opponent, as well as S Carcass Raid, are usually extremely plus on block, allowing Venom to keep pressure going for a long time, as long as he can keep the opponent guessing between his many options. S Carcass Raid can at some ranges be jumped away from, ending pressure, so by mixing in other tools such as Heavy Slash Carcass Raid and QV will keep your opponent honest, and even if you guess wrong with QV, it is safe, and if you can keep your opponent guessing, you can hold it for a bit, making it plus, and even giving you another ball to work with. Backing this pressure up, Venom has a good overhead to use in Mad Struggle, which generally has to be done from the air, with the Tiger Knee motion ending in up, forward. You can do it close to the ground, allowing for a good mix-up, leading into the basic crouch route we learned earlier. As long as Venom has meter, he can also reset any pressure situation that gets out of hand into Stinger YRC, allowing him to start pressure all over again with a very fast and plus projectile. While Venom's ball formations allow for an insane amount of variety in setups, there are two basic ones you can start with and work from and build on with experience. The first is a very basic one, but in its simplicity it is also very safe. From any knockdown that you can cancel, such as 2D or 6 heavy, you can do a ball summon with S into a ball summon with P, run forward and press 5K. This will simply allow you to safely advance behind and start basic pressure. This is not as strong in terms of your mix-up potential as many other setups, but it is very safe and good when you are worried about your opponent's response. The other, while more risky option, is setting a K-ball after knockdown and forward jumping into jump K, allowing you to do a traditional Guilty Gear mix-up of late air dash or low. This is a good mix-up, but the setup comes with much more risk than the previous one, as it is vulnerable to many reversals, including Blitz, which is a universal defensive option everyone has access to. While more risky, it does lead to fantastic damage and a good mix-up. These options can both be used in the corner as well, but there are many stronger options you can learn, as these are simply basic ones to get started with. Venom is a character that requires a lot of work and practice, because while there are basic setups, without learning many different ones to vary between, you are limiting yourself and making your opponent have to worry about less things if you always do the same setup. Thus, once you have gotten comfortable with these setups, start learning more that you can find from match videos or the excellent Dustloop wiki. If Venom interests you, some strong players you can look at are Fino and Isamu from Japan. I have linked a video for them both respectively in the description. More in-depth information can be found on the excellent Dustloop wiki, which will break down every move and option in the game. Coming up next is May. I'm trying to get the whole cast done before Xrd rollback releases, so if you want to follow along and find out about the many interesting characters of Xrd, sub so you don't miss the next episode. Bye bye and trust in 2S.